Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. A much happier and shinier Jingles than in today's earlier War Thunder video, where there wasn't any gameplay, and it was literally just me criticising War Thunder's god-awful battle rating and matchmaking system. And it is god-awful, but it didn't really matter in this match. The matchmaker had sobered up. This was a realistic battle on the New Guinea map. The British, and any Americans who happened to join in, against the Japanese. And I really can't seem to lose when I'm flying the British in War Thunder. Well, I can lose when I'm flying the British in arcade, but in realistic battle, I've just consistently been winning over and over and over. No idea why. Are these low-tier British aircraft considered to be overpowered? Is the battle rating of, like, the Bristol Beaufort, for example, which you can see me flying here, is that considered to be messed up to the same degree that the battle ratings of aircraft like the Zero and the Spitfire Mark V? And the P-47 Thunderbolt are? Couldn't tell you. All I know is I really can't seem to lose when I'm flying the British in realistic battles. Well, I say the British, this is the Royal Australian Air Force version of the Bristol Beaufort, and I'm sorry Australia. I know you hate it when I do that, but that's why I do it. The Australians don't mind, they've got that kind of sense of humour, they get it. So yes, anyway, we are, well, there's a hell of a lot of ground targets to kill, and in fact there's probably so many ground targets to kill that, oh, and I was going a bit fast there, I nearly ripped the wings off, so I'll throttle back. Probably too many ground targets for us to kill in these low-level bombers. And when I say low-level, I mean, you know, low-rank bombers, not bombers flying at low, you know what I mean. This is probably going to be decided not by who knocks out all the ground targets, because, one, there's too many ground targets and none of us carry enough bombs to do it in 2 or 3 bombing runs, but it's going to be down to which team ends up getting its aircraft knocked out first. And I was immensely encouraged at the start of this game by the fact that the team were all talking to each other, which is always a very, very good sign. Bombers were calling out their targets, they were saying which targets they were going to go for. I decided that I was going to go down to low level and make the most of the speed of the Beaufort, because when this thing was introduced there was barely a fighter aircraft in the world that could catch it. Of course, that was when it was introduced. By 1940, 1941, and early 1942, there were plenty of fighters that could catch it, but it's still pretty quick for a bomber. So I have announced that I'm going to be going for the landing craft. Quick look around, and tally bandits. Actually, no, not a bandit. It's the Japanese bombers. They had a couple of H-6Ks. I'm lining up on the cargo ships. Check around. Oh, hello. No, it's just more bombers. Oh, there's a KI-45 up there, and there's the KI-43s. Okay, so they're the fighters that I'm going to have to watch out for. Lining up on the cargo ships, but I'm not going to go for the cargo ships. Instead, I'm going to go for the landing craft, or at least that's the plan. Try to get a nice straight line upon them so I don't have to deviate too much when I'm dropping my bombs. There's some anti-aircraft vehicles down there, but I'm low and I'm fast. I should be okay. My major concern, of course, is that KI-43 over there. And also, he has the rammer title, and that's rarely a good sign. So I'm glad I'm in a fast bomber, let's just put it that way. Although, as it turns out, I'm not quite fast enough. And bombs away. Got a couple of kills. Still got a bomb left. And there's targets up here guarding the airfield, and I can use the bomb on those. Taking some hits. Bombs away, ground unit destroyed. Now, where did that KI-43 go? There he is. Actually, there they are, there's 2 of them. Oh, no, this is not good. And, well, he didn't try to ram me, which is always a plus, despite having the rammer title. You know, when I see somebody with a rammer title, I tend to give them a wide berth, you know, just in case. The guy's advertising the fact that he likes to ram, then, you know, stay away from him. Now, Bristol Beaufort, it is fast. But as I said, it was fast when it was introduced. It's still not slow, even in a 1941 themed battle like the New Guinea operation here in realistic battles. But I can definitely make it difficult for these guys to catch me. 2 of them on my tail, but one of them's going to break off and head after something slightly slower than a Bristol Beaufort. But the guy in the KI-43, the guy with the rammer title, he was nothing if not persistent. Do you think perhaps he knew me? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't really matter. He stayed on my ass like glue. And I'm keeping this thing as low as I possibly can, because if he gets below me, my gunner can't shoot at him. And he's trying to close the distance, but hammering the throttle open, full emergency power all the way, this thing is a fast aircraft. Unfortunately, my engines have overheated, so I have to ease off on the throttle, and that's given him the opportunity to catch up with me again. And I'm still a fair old distance away from the airfield and the safety of my airfields and the aircraft guns. Now he's gained altitude. That's kind of good because it means my gunners still have something to shoot at, but it's kind of bad because it means he's going to convert that altitude into speed. He's going to dive on me and try to catch up with me. And he has the rammer title. Yeah, I've seen this one happen before. So, okay, engines have cooled down a little, hammer open the throttle again, but he is probably going to catch me. The engines are overheating again, he's getting awfully close. I'm switching to manual control of the guns, but of course the second I do that, the autopilot kicks in, the pilot levels the aircraft out, and he takes that opportunity to get below my line of fire. So once again, I have to trust to the AI gunner and try to get the hell out of here by taking direct control over the aircraft. And I'm hitting him, and he is getting awfully close. 250 metres, 230 metres, 220 metres. Friendly airfield is in sight, but it's still too far away to make a difference. This is going to be decided long before I get this thing over the airstrip, and yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. He is definitely going for the ram. But my gunner has set him on fire. And come on, got him. That was bloody close. Was he trying to ram? To be honest, I don't know. You couldn't really tell from the way he was flying. He did get awfully close though, but he peeled off at the last second rather than trying to continue flying into me. It's always safest to just assume the guy on your tail, if they get that close, they're trying to ram you, and take appropriate evasive action. Whether he was actually trying to do it or not is completely irrelevant. It's always safer to assume that he is. But anyway, that was a bit close for comfort, but I got away with it. And now we're on final approach to the airfield. So gear down, flaps down. It's not an ideal approach angle, but you know, I was violently manoeuvring, trying to avoid getting flown into by a Key 43 at the time. Still, it's close enough for government work. Now, if I can just avoid doing a Jingles landing, let's see if I can actually put this thing down without taking any further damage. Use a little bit of rudder. I'm going to land short of the airfield, but it's flat ground, and I'll just roll right onto the landing strip. Come on. Almost there. Once I'm lined up, I'll use a bit of rudder to straighten it out. There it is. Not too much, I don't want to spin it. Easy on the brakes, not just yet. Slow her down. Use the elevators to keep the tail on the ground. And that wasn't a bad landing. Who the hell are you, and what have you done with the real Jingles? I know. So, a couple of seconds later, aircraft repaired, bombs reloaded, seconds out, round 2, get this crate into the air. And, you know, actually, despite saying at the beginning that these games are rarely decided by who eliminates all of the ground targets first, they're not doing too badly. There's only 20 of the buggers left. We did have a lot of PBY Catalinas, but the enemy team had a lot of H6Ks. You know, they're both big bombers. Catalina, of course, while it's really slow, has much better defensive armament than the Beaufort, and it carries 4 times the bomb load. So it's probably not that surprising that we've been doing quite well at knocking these ground targets out. The Beaufort carries 4 250-pound bombs. Catalina can carry 4 1,000-pound bombs. So, yeah, big difference. And that's why I was going for the smaller targets like the landing craft, and leaving the big targets like the cargo ships and the destroyers, and the area bombing targets to the Catalinas. Well, anyway, not an awful lot to see on the way back to the target area, so we're going to skip ahead. Check around for bandits. Nothing seen. No idea where the remaining enemy players were. Not get shot down by the flak from the destroyers that the PBYs didn't take out. Turn it round, exactly the same as before. Line up on the landing craft. Take note of the battle message in the bottom right of the screen that one of the enemy players has just crashed his aircraft. Not realising that that was in fact the last enemy player. Drop my bombs. Message pops up. Hostile team has lost all its aircraft. Bombs hit the target. and that scores me the final blow, ends the match, and also gets me the Balancer award because I'm flying a shitty little Bristol Beaufort and I managed to shoot down a Key 43. So it's not often I get Balancer in realistic battles, but as I said, if I want to win, it doesn't matter how bad I'm doing in War Thunder Ground Forces. If I want to win a game, I just jump into the Brits, fire up a realistic battle, and fly Spitfires, Hurricanes, and low-level bombers. And it works every time. Finished second on the team, but was only 33 points away from coming first. First place went to a guy in a Wildcat, I believe. Let's just check the stats. There he is. That guy got Terror of the Skies, Bulletproof, and On Hand. And there was only 32 points difference between me and him, so no shame coming second place in the lowest tiered aircraft in the match. And a bomber at that. So, yeah, happy with that result. But hold the phone. That's not the only War Thunder aircraft realistic battle video I have for you today. Well, it's all one video, but it's another... You know what I mean. The Mark 1 Hawker Hurricane. Flying, again, it's the same rough tier level, and what's that Kingfisher doing? It looked like he was going into a dive. He is going into a dive. I guess he didn't like the matchmaker. But, oh well, fair enough. So, anyway, speaking of the matchmaker had maintained its sobriety for this one, and I'm actually at the top of the matchmaking list, I think. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. I could look it up, but I'm lazy. I'm not entirely sure what the battle rating of the Mark 1 Hawker Hurricane is, but I'm definitely not outclassed by anything in this realistic battle to the extent that I was in the previous one. The Hawker Hurricane, like the Bristol Beaufort, was a very, very good aircraft when it was introduced. Like the Bristol Beaufort, it's a 1930s vintage design, and it saw a lot of valuable service. It definitely did its share of its work in the early stages of World War II, particularly the Battle of Britain. Hawker Hurricanes shot down more aircraft than the Spitfire ever did. Of course, that was because there was a lot more of the Hawker Hurricanes than there were of the Spitfires. There's not that many people in this realistic battle. This was quite late at night. But by 1940, 1941, the Hurricane was starting to show its age. It could still get the job done, but it was becoming increasingly outclassed by aircraft like the Bf-109, and completely outclassed by 1942, when aircraft like the Focke-Wulf 190 were starting to make their presence felt. In this realistic battle, however, I think the most important thing I have to worry about is a Bf-109E1. So, again, absolutely nothing wrong with the matchmaking in this game. Well, not, the game, but not in this battle. The matchmaking in the game is screwed up beyond all belief. But for this game, it was relatively sober. So, targets up, have a look around. What have I got behind me? Yeah, no problem. As long as there's no bad guys behind me. And there's the Bf-109 now. He's gone high. And the Bf-109 is always going to outclimb an aircraft like the Hurricane. The Hurricane does not have a lot of engine power, and it loses speed in the turns very, very quickly. It's not a real dogfighter like the Spitfire was. The Spitfire, with that beautiful elliptical wing, could just throw itself around the sky like you wouldn't believe. The Hurricane, not so much. Hurricane was very rugged, though. It was a canvas-covered airframe, and bullets tended to just go right through without doing any real damage. The Mark 1 has 8 7.7mm machine guns, and I tend to load these things with as much incendiary ammo as possible because it carries a lot of ammunition. And while 7.7mm rifle caliber ammunition doesn't do a lot of damage, every time you hit the target, and this thing fires a lot of bullets with 8 machine guns, there's a chance that the incendiary ammunition is going to set them on fire. So that's my strategy when I'm flying this thing. Okay, the Bf-109's busy. I'm going to go for the CR-42. And I hit him, but nothing critical. Keeping an eye on him. He's not turning to try to go for me. He's maintaining... I'm not quite sure who he's going for. There's 3 of them down there circling. 1 friendly. So I'm going to stay on these guys. Safety in numbers and all that. The CR-42's going into a climb. That's going to leave them slow and vulnerable. He's going after the Catalina. And he's fixating on this Catalina. That's going to make it easier for me to hit him. And I am hitting him. And there's a crit. And he's realised he can't take that kind of firepower. But now there's somebody on my tail. Now I do take a bit of a risk here. there's something shooting at me from behind. I don't know where he is, I don't know what he is. I don't recognise the colour of the tracer, but he hasn't hit me yet. He's not particularly accurate, and I keep scoring hits on this Falco. Now I'm throttling back because I don't want to overshoot the Falco. But I'm not going to try to turn with a Falco, that's for sure. And whoever's behind me has just scored a hit. So he's getting too close for comfort. I need to deal with him. It's not the 112. He's too far away. There's the Falco. What the hell was it? Oh, there. I see him on the radar. It's the BF-109. Alright, that changes things substantially. Now, I'd already throttled down to try to stay on the tail of the Falco. He's higher than me. He's faster than me. So what I'm doing is I'm weaving to try to make him overshoot. Now, he's either going to overshoot or he's going to go high, loop over, and finish me off. Or he's going to try to turn fight me, and that's exactly what he's done. If he'd gone high, maintained the altitude, and just dived on me again, he could have had me. Somebody else shooting at me, of course. No idea who that is. Is it the CR-42? But I've used the flaps, I've used the elevators, I've managed to easily turn at low altitude inside a BF-109. Choice of 3 things that he could do, he made the wrong choice. And I'm going to punish him for that. Easily able to stay on his tail. Still somebody behind me, and I am taking hits, but it doesn't seem to be doing any damage. And I want to nail this BF-109. This is one of the best aircraft on the enemy team. And there we go. Come on. Oh, you don't want to be doing that. You really don't want to be doing that. Not with a hurricane on your tail. And is he going to pull out of that? I don't think he is. No, I've got him. Cool. Right, now, who's on my ass? Oh, it's an HE-51, which explains why I wasn't taking any damage. And he's got problems of his own. There's a P-36 Hawkeye over him. Now, I'm not going to try to turn fight at low altitude with a biplane. And I didn't have a lot of speed built up there, but I had enough to be able to pull a loop going high. He's never going to be able to follow me around there. And he manages to plant his nose into the dirt before either I or the P-36 could finish him off. Now, my ammunition is... it's not critical, but the skies appear to be clear of enemy fighters. There's an HE-51 4 or 5 kilometers away. I am going to head back to base and use what ammunition I have left on any ground targets that I come across along the way. Just farm a bit more damage. Artillery, anti-aircraft guns, light tanks, things like that. Points make prizes. Don't have a lot of ammo left. I'm going to run dry any second now. Just score a few more kills. And bingo, gun's empty. Right, so, back to base. Nearly had a bit of a Jingles landing. I have absolutely no idea what the stall speed of this thing is, and I very, very nearly fell out of the sky on approach and had to throttle right back up again, but pulled it off. No critical damage to the aircraft, and not quite a perfect 3-point landing, but close enough for government work. Sorry to disappoint you all again. I know you're all hoping for Jingles landings whenever you see me flying realistic battles, but don't worry, I'm sure at some point you're going to get a Jingles landing, just not today. If it's any consolation, I don't know if you noticed, but while I was taxiing in, I didn't pull off a Jingles landing in this game, but there's a Catalina off to the left. Let's have a quick look. There he is. He managed a perfect Jingles landing. So he did it, so I didn't have to. Anyway, let's get this thing repaired, refueled, rearmed, and get this crate back into the air. Yeah, my landings might be shit, but my takeoffs are perfect. Oh wow, and I'm top of the team list as well. Whee! And we've successfully covered the AI, the ground forces. The tanks are now capturing the various different airfields, and there are not an awful lot of enemy aircraft left to oppose us. So, I mean, I have no idea where they are. Asking if the team has seen anybody. How many do they have? 1, 2, 2. That's it. Well, I think we can safely say we've won this one. Of course we've won this one. I'm flying my Brits. I always win when I'm flying my Brits. Yeah, I don't always win when I'm flying my Brits. But I do win most of my games when I'm flying my Brits. I think my win-loss ratio is about 2 to 1 when I'm flying British aircraft in realistic battles. And there's the HE-111. I mean, I'm asking the team if they've seen where these guys are. And yep, there's one of them. One of the P-36s has critted him. He's got 2 of them on him. No idea how much ammo they have left. And he's been set on fire. I'm probably not going to get close enough to steal the kill here. He is going down. That looks like a vertical dive. He's lost control. Yeah. That's a death dive if ever I saw one. He no longer has control of that aircraft. That is a definite kill for one of those P-36s, so good job. And that kill goes to Wildstorm and P-36 Hawk. Oh, hang on a minute, he was in second place. No, he's going to take first place off me. We can't be having that. And he's fought, there it is. No, I'm still in first place. If he gets that HE51, he's going to take the top spot. I don't know if you noticed there, by the way. I didn't actually notice at the time. But I did so much damage to that CR42 when the BF-109 bounced me from behind that the CR42 later crashed as a result of the damage. So I have actually scored 2 kills in this realistic battle. I don't think I'm going to get 3, though. He's too far away. He's got 2 P-36s on him. Wildstorm's going to get him. I'm going to lose the top spot. And that makes me sad. Oh, I'll live with it. There he goes. Yeah, he's got him. And that was the last enemy aircraft, which means that that ticket counter is going to start going down. And, oh look, here's something that I can actually use this ammunition on. So I'm going to farm some quick ground kills just to boost that score a little. Is there anything else around here I can shoot up? Armoured car. There's a bad approach angle. A very bad approach angle. Nah, that's probably it. Ticket count is almost gone. I'm never going to pull round in time to finish them off, and there we go. Well, got me the final blow at least, and Wildstorm there getting Terror of the Sky, Balancer, and Bulletproof, and the award for assists going to the other P-36. And I'd have kept the top spot if it wasn't for Wildstorm and those pesky interfering P-36s. Foiled again. But that was fun. It was fun. It's always nice when you win, which is quite rare in War Thunder, but that's only because I haven't been flying in War Thunder a lot lately. I've been driving those bloody tanks, and I swear I couldn't get a win in the tanks if somebody died and willed it to me. It's just the way I've been rolling lately. So if I am getting down with the tanks, then all I need to do is fire at my Brits, fly realistic battle, and I become happy Jingles once again. British aircraft, it's my happy place in War Thunder, and hopefully today's video has shown you why. As always folks, take care, and I'll catch you next time. And now that everybody thinks the video is over, and the haters have all safely vented their spleen at me in the comments for daring to suggest that somebody made a RAM attempt at me in the first replay, let's just take a closer look, shall we? Let's see what the judges think. Yeah. I dodged him just in time. Yeah, nice try, guy with a rammer title, but not today. Not this Bristol Beaufort. 3 out of 4 judges have decided on points that that was definitely an attempted ram. Take care, folks.